Good morning or good afternoon today to everyone listening to Car Talk episode 8. Happy Car Talk Thursday. Today I wanted to talk about I guess kind of a quote or really a conversation that I had with my boss. So a few days ago, I was at work and I was kind of expressing to one of my coworkers how I feel about getting old. That it's not really something I look forward to. And I feel, that's a normal thing that I think a lot of people have. They don't want to see themselves wither away. But then my boss kind of stepped in. He overheard our conversation and he said something that has kind of stuck with me. He told me that getting old is a privilege. Now, he's an older guy. He's hitting his 40s. He's getting there. He's getting to the middle age mark. And he has a family and all that. And he told me that getting old is a privilege. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? I mean, is it just wisdom that we're looking forward to? And he said, well, I mean, think about it. All the people that die really, really young, if they were in your shoes, I bet they would want to get older. Some people don't have the privilege to get old. And then we start to think, like, the people who do die really young, children with cancer, for example, they die fairly young. I bet, in their shoes, they wish they were my age. And I'm only 19, but to them, they didn't get to be blunt, they didn't get to make it, which is really sad. And it kind of gave me a new perspective about getting older, which is kind of something I wanted to share. Because now how I look at it, I'm actually I look at it in a different light now. Because before, it was once something that I really was not looking forward to, watching myself wither away, watching myself, get wrinkles and, lose hair, which I'm already losing hair, and I'm 19 years old, but it is what it is. It's Mother Nature. But you just watching yourself get older and older, I looked at it in a very bad sense. Now I look at it as more of a positive sense, like as far as I get to experience more of life. I am more grateful about it now after having that talk with my boss. Because to think about it, like, if I didn't get older, there's so much to life that I still want to experience, and some people don't get that privilege. It was very ungrateful for me to think have that mindset I had about being old. And it's weird that I'm already thinking about this at 19, but I guess I've been kind of reflecting back in time almost, like watching like how fast really, I'm gonna sound like a parent, but how fast like school went. And it did hit me last year, don't get me wrong. Like, it did hit me that I wasn't going back to school or anything like that. And don't get me wrong, I do very much prefer not going to school. But at the same time, it's one of those, I can't really say that I miss not having responsibilities, because I still had responsibilities when I was younger, because my parents didn't make much money, so I had to work pretty young. So I didn't really get the biggest chance to be a kid. I had to grow up around 13 years old. Was when I had to actually grow up and start, learning to be a man. Which is not something that I want my kid to have. The goal is to have them be able to be a kid until they're actually like 18. Because it's something I wish I was able to do. Which we could go more into detail on a different car talk. Right now I'm just heading to the gym. So I'm in my sporty gear instead of my winter gear. It's weird to think about, like, how fast everything happened. Like, to think I'm almost 20 now, which to other people is like they wish they were still 20, which I get that. I'm happy the way I am now. I mean, obviously you wish you could be young forever, but you do become wiser. I was a lot wiser than I was when I was younger. When I was younger, I was an idiot. I mean, I still am to this day, but I'm a smarter idiot. So it's different. But it seems like, I guess that's the main thing to look forward to. You become more wiser. You get more knowledge. You get the ability to experience other things that you don't really get as a kid. Because honestly, having responsibility itself is kind of something to look forward to. Obviously, having being a kid and not really worrying about anything is nice and all. But the challenge, the challenge is, I guess it all depends on how you look at life. If the challenges of life kind of excite you, then getting older makes you more happy because you get more responsibilities, which means more challenges. Because I do like the challenge that life throws at me. It's interesting to see when I reflect and look back how I handled a certain situation and how I could handle it going forward. That's why I don't really have regrets. The only regret I have would be to move out as early as I did. Really, I moved out with the wrong people, which again, that's another topic for another day. I don't really want to go into that can of worms. Kind of want to stay on topic today as far as life in general. But when you look at it like that and pushing yourself, and it's cool. It's a cool thing. I don't look at it badly anymore. I look at it a little more grateful that I am that I have even lived for 19 years, because people don't get to experience that. And the plan is to live many, many more years. But I gotta do that by taking care of yourself, which I feel like that is something, I'm gonna talk about a different quote that my teacher, a different teacher, not my boss, but my teacher from BOCES. He was around 60. He was one of my favorite teachers ever, but around 60 years old. And he was telling me one day that he doesn't feel old. He believes that old is almost like a mindset, in a way that if you're only old when you believe you're old. I guess, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't, and it does, because he's a pretty healthy old guy. He's probably gonna live to hopefully be very long, and I feel like the mentality he has is what causes him to do so well at his age. And that's something I want to adopt in myself, and is why I try to look at it in a different mentality. I guess it's going to be kind of weird. It's almost weird, if you think about it, to imagine yourself because when it's hard to comprehend, because I can't comprehend myself being 30 years old. If that makes any sense. It's hard to think of yourself as older. For example, when I was, I guess, let's say 13, I couldn't really imagine myself at 19. What would be my mentality? What would be how I would look? And really just the mentality kind of thing. You don't really know how you're going to think when you're older, obviously, because you haven't gotten older. It's interesting though, to think about. I don't know, it's just some things that I think about while I'm driving, listening to music. That's where I kind of got this thought about as far as like taking care of yourself and all that. It's very important. I just recently started doing yoga, which, man, props to anybody that does yoga. That is hard. It's really difficult. I did not expect it. But it's important. I feel like yoga is probably the most important thing as far as longevity wise, and to make sure that you don't have back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, anything like that. I feel like yoga is the main culprit to help remedy that, so that when you get older, your joints are healthy, your muscles are healthy, all those things. That's why I started doing it now. But man, that stuff's hard. But I mean, it's all about the challenges. When you go to the gym is hard. Going to the gym is hard, but it's necessary in order to get the goals that you want to get. Yoga's hard, but it's necessary for the goals that I want in the future. Being, I want to be flexible in the future. I don't want to have back pain in the future. So, I'm putting in the time now while I'm young. Because here's another thing that I feel like a lot of people do when they're young, which honestly, I'm a culprit myself because I think the same way. But when everybody's young, they think they're invincible. Don't get me wrong, I understand that mentality. I think the exact same thing. When I when I take the times I do smoke weed or take shrooms, I feel like it won't affect me in the sense of or drink alcohol. I feel invincible almost. Now, it's not to the same extent as other people take it. Other people take it way past as far as I take it. That's where some people start doing coke and shit, or more hardcore drugs. I'll never touch that. I'll stick to weed. I'll stick to shrooms. Even weed. I don't buy myself weed. I don't like to keep myself. Don't like to put control on that. I only smoke if I'm with other buddies and we're all together smoking. I'll smoke. But I don't personally get myself for a few reasons. One, my mom's house is a very no smoke thing, no smoke zone, so that's not happening. I'll have to move out. Two, I feel like it's not something I want to do every day. When I buy it, eventually I probably will end up buying it myself, because there are some days where I just want to get high, but it's not something that I have to have a couple rules. One of my rules is I can't smoke unless I got everything else I need to get done. That way it's all off my mind and I'm not being unproductive. Two, and this is more something, I can't smoke every day. But the problem is, why I don't want to buy myself weed is, I feel like once it's there, I'm not gonna, it's a lot harder. It's almost like junk food, for example. When you're trying to lose weight or stop eating junk food, it's very easy to do that when you don't have junk food. But when it's there, it's extremely hard. You start to think to yourself, all right, just one cookie won't hurt. Just a few chips won't hurt. Just one of this won't hurt. Because it's there, it's easy. When it's not there and you're not buying it, yeah, you think of the craving, but the craving eventually goes away because you can't spawn it in existence. So you just end up not eating it. But I feel like if the weed is there, it's going to be 10 times harder for me to be like, oh, I can't smoke today. I got to wait till, tomorrow. And it's just, I don't know. I know myself, and that's how I'm going to be. So to avoid it, I try not to buy it myself. That's just my thoughts on it. Obviously, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Other people have different thoughts on weed in general. I know many people that their morning routine is to smoke. That's how they get through the day, which hats off to you guys. Me personally, I know how I am when I'm high. I am not productive at all. So I don't do it. I don't get zoinked out unless it's for fun purposes or relaxation purposes. But we are starting to close in on the gym now. We're like like 2 minutes out. Moral of the story is to don't become upset about getting old, because becoming old is a privilege. So be more grateful about that you're able to wake up today. And that's about it. You know, just be overall more grateful in general. Because there's a lot of people that could wish they were in your shoes right now. But I hope you guys have an amazing day and have enjoyed this car talk. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. I had to do that, at least one video. I don't like to self-promote often, but here and there, a like, a comment, and subscribe goes a long way, guys. It's one click, it's free. Why are you being stingy?